Hi YouTube, welcome to my channel. So basically this channel is just going to be about my journey towards fertility. So first I want to start off by saying that I personally have found out that I have PCOS. So many of you ladies may know what PCOS is, and if you don't, I'll let you know. It's stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome, and basically PCOS affects women's menstrual cycles, meaning that you may not have a regular period, or you may not have periods at all. And obviously if you don't have a menstrual cycle and ovulate on a regular basis, then you'll have problems with fertility and getting pregnant. So basically I just wanted to come on here and share my journey because you know, sometimes you can feel a little isolated when you're going through something, and you might feel like you're the only one, even though you're not. You may feel like you're the only one, you may feel alone, you may feel you know, a variety of feelings basically. And this is my way of expressing how I feel about the journey and what's going on with me, and just to share. Maybe someone will get something out of it. Maybe someone else, you know, find that they're going through some of the similar things that I'm going through, and we could, you know, chat and share ideas and all that. So anyway, I just want to get into a little bit of history. So I have PCOS, and I was diagnosed. There's no way to technically diagnose anybody for PCOS, but a doctor can look at your symptoms, meaning if you don't have a period on a regular basis, or if you don't have a period at all, if you're overweight, if you have excess hair, like maybe you might have a little facial hair, because one of the things about PCOS is a lot of women have high testosterone levels. So that can cause excess hair on the face, or, you know, other places on the body. So basically your doctor can go through all the symptoms with you, and if you match majority of those, then they'll say, okay, you know, you have PCOS, and, you know, basically treat you for infertility if you're trying to get pregnant and that's what you want to do. So basically that is what I want to do. I am 30 years old, and I definitely always wanted to have kids. I think that there was one point in my life where I was young and I was like, oh, you know, I don't know, but I definitely over the years have decided that this is something that I want for myself, and for the person that I'm with, and we obviously want a family and all those things like that. And so basically I have started my journey. So just to let you know what my journey consists of, because I believe everybody that has infertility issues has a different journey. Some people's, you know, it costs a little more, or, you know, there are different drugs that they might have to take, or you know, some people's journey is easy, some people's difficult, and, you know, you have people that fall like in between. And so hopefully you get something out of it and you enjoy. So I first want to say, okay, I have a calendar because I've just started writing down everything that's been going on, just so I can keep like the history of it. And I have been having unprotected sex with my partner probably for about a year, and so I don't have a regular cycle. I hardly menstruate on my own, which means I don't ovulate. And so after about a year, I was like, okay, well, you know, we started talking about having a baby and all those things like that. And so obviously I couldn't do it on my own, so we went to my doctor, my gynecologist, who referred me to an endocrinologist. And basically she's a fertility doctor, a great doctor. And she gave me a lot of information that I didn't know about PCOS, and she basically was like, you know, this doesn't have to be you know, a difficult process. We'll give you the information, you know, we'll look at your history, we'll look at, you know, your symptoms, and we'll try to get you on the right track. So basically, my doctor gave me first Provera. And Provera, I took that for 10 days to get my period. And once I got my period, on the 3rd day, I took Clomid. So this is Clomid. And basically, Clomid is a fertility drug. And it is supposed to stimulate your follicles so that you will ovulate. So basically, Clomid is taken by women to ovulate. If you don't ovulate on your own, then Clomid is what some doctors will put you on. I believe there are other drugs, but I think Clomid is like one of the more popular ones. So my doctor put me on 100 milligrams of Clomid. I took this for 5 days. I didn't experience hardly any side effects. Well, one of the side effects is blurry vision from the Clomid. I experienced a little bit of that, but I really didn't experience any other side effects, which I'm glad of, because one of the more dangerous side effects of Clomid or any fertility drug that makes you ovulate is that you can get OHHS. And that's basically, you know, ovarian hyperstimulation, and that could be, you know, a serious issue for your fertility in the future. And you know, you don't want to overstimulate your ovaries and all those things like that. So anyway, 100 milligrams of Clomid, took it for 5 days, and then after the 5 days, I went in for let's see. I went in for a sonogram. 3 days after my last Clomid pill. So I went in for a sonogram, and they looked at my follicles and saw that I had a follicle that measured 12 millimeters. And typically, when you do a cycle of Clomid, they want you to, well, my doctor, I think all doctors are different, but they wanted me to have a follicle of 18 millimeters. And so she basically scheduled me, this was on a Thursday, she scheduled me to come in the following morning, the following Monday. So 1, 2, 3, so I came in 4 days later, and she did a sonogram, and I measured at 20 millimeters, which was definitely good. She basically told me I could go ahead and take the trigger shot. And if you don't know what a trigger shot is, well, the one that I took is called Ovidrel. And Ovidrel basically jump starts. So some women may take Clomid, but they may not actually, their follicles are stimulated, but they might not actually ovulate, meaning the egg might not actually pop out, and they need a little more assistance. And so that's where the Ovidrel comes in. And so Ovidrel is basically a shot. So let's be clear, I don't like needles, like most people. And this shot is usually administered on your own, or by your partner, or whomever you trust. So I was really nervous about taking a shot because I don't like needles. I get really nervous, anxiety, and anxious and all that stuff like that. I didn't want to do it the wrong way. And so basically I went to the pharmacy, and I'm glad that it was a specialty pharmacy and they were nice enough. And I asked them to administer the shot for me. Well, they told me that they would, but it would be a charge of $45. So I asked the nurse, I said, well, is it possible that you can basically give me the step-by-step of administering a shot? I could do the shot right in front of you. You could tell me step-by-step. And so she said yes. I was really nervous, but because she was standing right there, a nurse, I was like, okay, I can do this. So I administered the shot. I know you can, you have a choice of putting it in your leg, like the top of your thigh, or you can put it in your abdomen. And I did mine in my abdomen. It was real quick, and it's just a little pinch. It felt like a little pinch. And surprisingly, that was like the best shot I've ever had. I don't know what it is about shots, but maybe when you self-administer, it's not as bad as someone else giving you a shot. I mean, the needle was kind of like that big too, so it wasn't a huge needle. So anyway, did Ovidrel the same day that I went to the doctor and measured the 20 millimeters. And let's see, my doctor basically suggested that we start having sex that night and the following morning, and then I think every other day, because I would be ovulating. And so unfortunately we didn't have sex that night, but we did the next day. And the next day, I didn't feel any symptoms or anything with the Ovidrel. I didn't feel any different. I really didn't feel anything. And I began to have ovulation pains. Well, let me say this. So with Ovidrel, you are supposed to ovulate 36 to 42 hours. I guess it depends on the person. Everybody's different. You're supposed to ovulate 36 to 42 hours after you take a shot. And so I took a shot on the 10th, had sex on the 11th. On the 12th, I woke up and my whole right side. Oh, so let me also tell you guys that my doctor, the follicle that was 20 millimeters was on my right side, on my right ovary. And so when I woke up the day after taking the shot, no, it wasn't the day after. It was 2 days after taking the shot. The night prior to it, the morning, I woke up, I had pain all the way down my right side. Like everywhere. In my side, in my butt, in my legs, like my whole right side just hurt. And it was like an achy feeling. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm ovulating. And I felt like I couldn't get out the bed. Like I literally felt like I couldn't get out the bed. And so I lay in bed for a little bit, and I just kind of, was like, okay, well, this is a good thing I'm ovulating. Let me just kind of, lay here and just get a minute before I get up and get dressed and start going to work. So I get up to get dressed and to go to the bathroom, and I'm surprised I made it, because I was like, it wasn't like pain, like severe excruciating pain. It was pain like I felt like I couldn't move. And so I was like, okay, this is really intense. But I will say that after I used the bathroom, I came and got back in bed. And I thought about calling in to work a little bit late. I was like, maybe I need an hour or two. But I laid down for another 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. I actually felt a lot better. Like it was still there, but it wasn't as intense as when I first woke up. So anyway, throughout the course of the day, I definitely was aware of that pain. It wasn't as bad, but I definitely felt it. And if you know what ovulation feels like, it was like that, but very intense feeling. And so I was happy, but because I was ovulating, because I obviously can't do that on my own. But at the same time, it was a little uncomfortable. And so that was on the 12th. And so it is now the 13th, and I don't feel any pain at all from ovulation. I'm done ovulating. Ovulation usually lasts from 12 to 24 hours. So I'm done with that, and I don't feel any pain or anything like that. And fingers crossed that it all works. I am now in my 2-week wait, so we shall see what happens. And in 2 weeks, it feels like forever, I'm going to take a pregnancy test. and we'll see what happens. I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm anxious, I'm a whole lot of things. So I hope that, and in God's time, you know, with my hope and, you know, my trust and faith in God, I know that it will happen. But I want to have it as soon as possible. So we'll see. And I'll keep you updated. So if you wanted to share your story, or if you had any comments or anything you want to add, let me know. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below, and I look forward to hearing from you.